Cosmere can be a confusing place.
From allomancy to surge binding, there's a lot to look out for.
We're your hosts and escorts to the realms. I'm Griff.
And I'm Alex.
And this is the Silverlight Guide to the Cosmere.
All right, Griff, what have we got today?
We have got the Knights Radiant.
But before that, a word from our... No, we don't have any sponsors. But...
We'd be willing to have sponsors.
That's right. But the sponsor of us all, God, a.k.a. Brandon Sanderson.
Ah, okay. I was going to say, are we talking about honor here?
No.
They do call honor the Almighty.
They do. Doesn't seem that way.
Actually, I don't know if I brought this up initially.
Oh, dear God.
But no. There was something really interesting here, a comparison, because honor was called the Almighty.
Yeah.
After he was initially honor. Like he started as honor, and then they started worshiping him as the Almighty. The interesting thing is that, and not to offend anybody's sensibilities, what people want to believe is they are free to believe, whatever, not going into that. God, Yahweh, probably started as a storm and war god before being uplifted to the status of Almighty.
Makes sense, given the flood and the fighting.
Right, exactly.
So,
and various things like calming the seas, Jesus being able to calm the seas. Like, one of the specific things was that the weather was only the purview of God. That only God could calm or control the weather. It was not an option available to other people. Now, of course, Catholic saints and all that, that's whatever. That came later. But I thought it was an interesting comparison.
Sure.
Because you had honor with the Stormfather, and part of honor creates the warlight. And then you had the Stormfather, which was, a creation of honor. And then honor being raised up to the Almighty.
Sure.
It was an interesting comparison.
It is interesting. Well, that's it for today, folks.
Yep, nope, that's the episode.
Yep, Knights Order, Knights Radiance.
Yes, the Orders of the Knights Radiant.
But even before that, they've started shipping the Shadowverse boxes.
Oh, yes, they have.
There's news. There's the first book club of Tress and the Emerald Sea is on YouTube. This is a group of 5 people that Sanderson selected to discuss Tress and the Tress of the Emerald Sea.
Oh, okay.
They include a couple of booktubers, one of the employees of Dragonsteel, a mycologist, or rather an influencer that talks about fungi.
Gotcha.
And I don't remember what the guy was from. Anyways, so they talk about parts 1 through 3 or something of Tress.
Okay.
Yeah, that's on YouTube. It was fairly interesting to listen to. Not too far off from our review of it, honestly.
Fair.
And then we just got an update from the Indiegogo for all of you deluxe slipcase hardcover
comics,
which is really just us at this point. Potentially you, if you are one of those people, and also one of the 16 people subscribed or following. Click that follow button. So something about hoping to have everything printed again by March 31st.
Okay.
I don't believe them.
No, nor do I.
I don't like dates that end at the end of the month, because that's so I'm gonna bet at the end of April.
Yeah. God, if it gets to June, will have been what, a year?
I think
or
so.
July a year?
I'm not sure.
I don't know either.
Yeah,
it's been
a while.
Yeah,
and actually, the production of books is really hitting Sanderson hard everywhere, because Tress still hasn't shipped for a lot of people.
Oh, really?
Including us.
Oh, yeah, no, that's true. We haven't... we listened to it. I completely forgot. Hey, there's actually a book I'm supposed to go along with.
That's right. I believe they're picking up there. And I think I share the sentiment with some other people that I hope we get our copies before the trade version comes out on
Yeah, I
April.
hope so.
Not that big of a deal because it's still the premium, and
Right.
that'll never be made again,
No,
probably.
but
So
still, it'll
yeah,
be a little bit
a
irksome.
little weird, a little weird.
Um, and so the Cytoverse box, that's the young adult spaceship
That's the
series,
yeah, the
right? Yeah,
sci-fi,
okay. I
which
read the first one and part of the second one. I didn't get all the way through it.
I have not read any of them.
It
Uh,
was all right.
yeah,
Um,
I was gonna see if the school library had them or something.
I would recommend. I believe. Did I listen to the first one or did I actually read the first one? If you can get it on Hoopla, get it on
It
Hoopla.
was good.
It's okay.
I need to get Hoopla to begin with.
You do need to get Hoopla.
Does that take a
Um,
library card?
it does take a library card.
I need to get a library
However,
card.
uh, I don't know if it works. I don't know if Carrollton even has a library.
They do.
Okay. I don't know if it works with Carrollton.
Okay.
I know I got it through the Fort Worth, the Ulyss,
Oh,
the
okay.
Ulyss library, because
Gotcha.
my mom worked there, and so I was able to get a. I mean, that was super easy.
For sure.
Even before I moved. Um, so because I know it is aligned with specific libraries.
Well, just look, I'm not gonna get upset over it.
Yeah, like the nice thing about it is that it doesn't rely on your library's
right
catalog.
Right.
Like that's the super nice thing about Hoopla is that it has its own catalog. So even though it's kind of sponsored by your library, it doesn't rely on their selection of audiobooks.
Sure. Yeah. So Hoopla,
but,
if you want to sponsor us,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, we'll take that.
We'll sing your praises forever.
Indeed.
Because wait, aren't they free to use if you have a library card?
It is. You only get 7 downloads a month.
Oh, okay.
I don't. There is actually no way to go over that. You cannot like pay money to get additional downloads or anything. No, you hit 7, you're out.
You have to lobby Congress for them to change the rules.
Apparently, yes.
That's probably it. Anyways.
However, the Cytoverse was okay. It was not necessarily my favorite. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't necessarily my favorite.
Sure.
I like Steelheart a little bit more.
Oh, okay.
I kind of wish you were coming out with a Steelheart. Wait, is one of the boxes Steelheart related?
No, they are 10 of them are Cosmere.
Right.
Cytoverse, Dragonsteel.
Kind of wish they had done Steelheart instead of Cytoverse, but
yeah, but with whatever one is coming out this November.
Right, yeah, no, it is Cytoverse. Defiant? And like that's the
Is it Defiant coming out this November?
I don't remember.
Maybe I'll get really into it.
Maybe. I liked the Steelheart universe a little bit more. The idea that it was kind of like The Boys, but
that's what I gathered.
It's kind of like The Boys mixed with feudal Japan.
I'm gonna need to make another cup of coffee to get that foul taste out of my mouth. Just kidding.
So what happens is that instead of it being like The Boys where superheroes are all celebrities that are, like praised in the media and everything.
Right.
All superpowered people are evil to some degree or another, and most of the ultra powerful ones have sectioned off a piece of the world as their own kingdom, which is why I said like feudal Japan.
Gotcha.
So yeah, it's not like they're media figures or anything like that. They are the absolute rulers of their little piece of, like, I know Steelheart himself, which is what the first book is named after. I know that's not the actual series, but I don't remember what the series is called. The Reckoners.
Right.
He has Chicago, like Chicago, and a section of the lake is Steelheart's domain.
Huh.
So he rules basically the entirety of Chicago,
Not over Harry Dresden's body.
Well, this is not that world.
Yeah.
But and like the thing about Steelheart is that he can make anything around him into steel. That's one of his abilities, not his only, but that is one of it. And so his palace is actually set on the steel made waters of.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
The lake, near Chicago. Like he actually turned part of the waters of the lake into steel and then set his palace on that.
Lake Michigan.
Lake Michigan, yeah. So, and they travel to various other cities as the book series goes on. So,
right.
But yeah, so it is kind of the boys, as I said, mixed with feudal Japan because they are these rulers of these sections. They have henchmen, like they have other superpowered, less powerful superpowered people under them that are kind of like their lieutenants and things.
Sure.
So, but yes, the Reckoners are humans, regular humans that are,
I see,
setting out to kill these superpowered people, because what they have found is that every superpowered person, and I'm not spoiling this is basic premise of the book, they find that every single superpowered person has a weakness, and if the superpowered person is exposed to that weakness, they are basically depowered temporarily. So you can kill them, because most high-level supers have either an invulnerability or a regenerative ability of some sort that means that they can't die by conventional means. So they have to find the weakness, expose them to the weakness, and then kill them.
Makes sense.
So it was actually a pretty cool concept, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But anyway, not the point. The point of this episode is the Knights Radiant.
Yes.
Everybody's favorite hyper-flexible mythology.
Jesus.
So a term coined. Actually, I did not know this. I knew it was used by him. I didn't know it was coined by him. Coined by Andrew Hussey to explain a mythology in which people can categorize and set themselves into the universe, is known as a hyperflexible mythology. So even, say, everybody's most hated turf set of novels, the Harry Potter series, is a hyperflexible mythology because people will put themselves into one of the 4 traditional houses, or then again they came out with 4 American houses and all of that.
Yes, I've taken those tests.
I when I was younger, I did as well.
Feel slimy a little bit.
I've actually found that it's not too terribly hard to hate on something when I find out that it's made by somebody who's kind of shitty and awful.
Yeah.
Like, even something that I previously enjoyed, I don't find it's that hard to give up.
Huh.
Like, I'm kind of even iffy on watching Guardians of the Galaxy because Chris Pratt's brother is into some white supremacy shit, and like Chris Pratt has promoted his brother, and like you might be able to argue that he doesn't know, but
at the same time, I'm able to completely divorce myself from reality and not worry about those things, which is not great.
Luckily, Brandon Sanderson so far has not turned out to be problematic, thank God.
That's true. That's, for the most part.
Like, the author himself, I'm not going to say there aren't some aspects of that in his book. I think it's somewhat hard to get away from that.
Well, even then, he has publicly changed his opinion on some things that he has said in the past.
Yes, exactly.
Which, I mean, if J.K. Rowling did the same.
See, that's
wholeheartedly.
That's all that was really needed. Like,
yeah,
you just need to not double down on your bigotry.
Right.
But anyway.
Wow.
Knights Radiant.
Here we are.
Yes, so hyperflexible mythology.
Hyperflexible mythology.
So I think that as we go along, we should also let readers know as we get to that category what order we are in.
Oh, sure. That's fine.
Yes.
Yeah. So there's 10 of them.
There are 10. Yes.
And how does one become a Knight Radiant? A Knight. Yeah.
Yes. It depends on which order you belong to.
Sure.
But all Knights Knights Radiant start with swearing the first ideal, which we have quoted on this show many times in various bastardized forms.
This episode would make 17 or 18.
Yes. Which is life before death, strength before weakness, and journey before destination.
That's right.
And I, in particular, love the ideal. I love the spirit behind the ideal. I kind of wish that all cop departments would take it on as the principle of the department, because I think in particular the strength before weakness, which is power makes you fit for service, not fit for rule, is one that a lot of people need to take to heart.
I agree. So they swear the first ideal. They bond with a spren.
Yes.
Which is a little magic creature.
Yes, a little magic creature that represents a concept or an emotion.
Yep. And then they get powers.
And then they do. They get powers.
They get powers based on the spren that they bond with.
Yes, and each spren provides 2 surges that the knights
That's right. And those
have access to.
Powers are called surges.
Yes, the powers are called surges. And then each order itself has a specific resonance dependent on the surges they have access to.
Yes.
Not all of which we have been given explicit info on.
Or probably will ever.
Potentially. We do know what the Windrunner's resonance is. And I believe we also know the Lightweaver's resonance.
We're talking about the mass with the thing?
No, the Lightweavers being able to give substance to their illusions.
Oh, that's what I was... Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, unless...
Oh, mass. You said mass. Yes, sorry. I misheard.
Yeah, no, that's the potential, unless that's a Shallan specific thing.
Right, which we don't know, because unfortunately Shallan is the main... But anyway, let's start with the first order, which is the Windrunners.
The Windrunner, yeah. And we'll just kind of pop through these, because ultimately this is something you can go look up. And
this is true.
That interesting, but discussing them overall is interesting. So, the Windrunners.
Yes.
Bond with Honorspren.
Bond with Honorspren. They are all about protection. That is what their ideals are. Their oaths will be formed around protection.
Right. They get adhesion and gravitation.
Yes.
Which I mentioned in last episode, Odium calls adhesion the false surge.
Right, which is fascinating.
Yep. And then they share a surge gravitation with the Skybreakers.
Yes.
That bond to Highspren.
Which look like tears in space, if I remember correctly.
And I believe are a-holes? Or was it the Honorspren that are a-holes? Is it mostly...
both.
Both?
I mean, the Highspren we encounter in Shadesmar are assholes.
Yes, except for those that stand up and are like, we will join.
Right, yeah. So, and one of their surges, which is...
Skybreakers?
Yeah, the Skybreakers, they
Division.
have... Division, yes. Division is shared with the Dustbringers.
That's right.
Dustbringers are, I believe, the order that we currently have the least information on. Because we have seen them, but we do not have any really good representation of what they can do.
Yeah.
Because Taravangian had some Dustbringers in his retinue. And that's really the only example we've seen.
Yes, they have division and abrasion.
Yes.
And they bond with Ashspren.
Yes.
Which is cool. And they share abrasion with Edge Dancers.
Right.
And Edge Dancers bond with Cultivation Spren.
Yes.
And also have progression.
Well, and so Dustbringers are all about destruction, but destruction within. Oh, we need to go back. Skybreakers are all about law.
Oh, sure.
Holding to the law, following the law. That's what their ideals are all centered around. Dustbringers are all about destruction with restraint.
Yes.
Constructive destruction, effectively. Although I think that could easily be bastardized.
Probably.
And then edge dancers are all about remembering, making sure that people are remembered and recognized.
Yes. And they have progression, which they share with Truth Watchers.
Right. And Truth Watchers are, as their name suggests, about finding the truth.
Yes. And they bond with Mistbren.
Yes.
Although the two that we've seen
thus far, well, I know the one, which is Rosharan,
but also Relaine.
Oh, yeah.
Are bonded with... What's the term for
mutated? It's the mutated Sprend. Is it the
mutated? Not mutated. Is not the word. Corrupted.
Corrupted Sprend. Yes. Odium Sprend. No. See, there's too many categories.
It's because it's Jean, not.
Yeah, I know. And see, that's the thing. We have the Odium Sprend, and then we have the
Sprend.
No, not Odium? The Void Sprend.
The Unmade.
Yeah, the Unmade, okay. And then we have the freaking Corrupted Spren.
Yeah.
Which are, like, freed or whatever.
Which is probably the truth, given,
Yeah, but And so, the interesting thing about the Truth Watchers and their resonance, I'm going to hop in here, because I think it is still their resonance, even though... Obviously, Rosharan is attached to a corrupted Spren, so this could be incorrect. But they seem to be able to give vision or give image to their visions that they can share with other people. Because Rosharan is able to show his visions to Dalinar, I believe.
Did he, though?
I believe so. I believe he actually gave, he gave somebody the ability to see his visions. It wasn't just him, because they appear as stained glass.
Right. We see him.
Right.
See visions as stained glass.
Yes, but I believe he gives the ability to see it to someone, and I figured that was a combination of their ability to light weave.
Right, with the surge of illumination.
Right.
Let's see. I'll call for more research on that.
Okay.
Because the way that I interpreted the two times that he was using the vision,
right,
and he was with somebody else, it was my understanding in those two chapters that he was seeing them. He was seeing the stained glass.
Right.
In one chapter, Yasna is going to kill him.
Yeah, I remember that one.
She doesn't see it.
Right. No, I
wasn't. But then the other one, right, with Dalinar, right? You talking about the one with Dalinar?
I thought so. I thought he was able to show his vision.
Maybe.
To them,
But the special thing about the vision, though, is that it may or may not be the resonance. It may or may not be because they're bonded with corrupted Spren.
Right, exactly.
Because the two Truth Watchers we've seen
have both been
corrupted and both do the stained glass thing.
So, however, that leads into the Lightweavers.
That's right.
Which Shallan is one of the main characters.
Yes.
She is a Lightweaver.
One of the most loved characters.
Eventually.
Kidding. Yeah. I didn't think her chapters were that boring.
I didn't actually think they were that boring. I will freely admit they didn't have the punch that Kaladin's did.
Oh, yeah, but they weren't supposed to.
No, they weren't supposed to.
If we didn't have Shallan's chapters, it would almost be... It wouldn't be near as bad as, like, Red Rising by Dan Brown.
Right.
In terms of the action never stops. But her chapters are...
Yeah, they are a breath between the action.
They are a breath. Or they're really cool reveals.
However, Lightweavers can create illusions.
Yes.
And then they also have... it's not called transformation. What is it called?
No, it is.
Oh, it's called transformation?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, transformation. So they can transform one item into, or one substance into another substance.
Yes.
Like she transforms a cup. Is it a cup into blood?
Think so.
Yeah.
And they are all about revealing truths.
Personal truths.
So
the Truth Watchers are all about finding and revealing universal truths.
Right.
But,
Truth Watchers.
Yeah, Truth Watchers. Well, so, no, Lightweavers bond with cryptics. Cryptics, yes. Or Liespren, as some people will call them. Sure. They don't personally like that term.
Delicious lies.
Yeah, delicious lies. Yes, I love
Kate Redding's interpretation of pattern.
Of pattern, yes. However, yes, they are all about personal truths, revealing personal truths that they may not have even admitted to themselves yet.
Yeah. To advance in their ideals.
Yes.
Yeah, which is interesting.
And then that moves into the Elsecallers, which is my personal... Oh, you are a Truth Watcher, are you not?
Yes, when I took the quiz,
yes.
Truth Watcher, followed closely by Skybreaker.
True.
And then Lightweaver.
So you could go... Weird. Yeah, you could go...
Truth Watcher would be my chosen.
Fair.
Yeah, but Elsecaller is yours.
Yes, Elsecaller is mine. And Elsecallers have transformation and... Is it called transportation?
It sure is.
Okay, yeah. So they can specifically use theirs to to change dimensions and travel to Shadesmar from the material world.
Yes.
And then back if they still have enough Stormlight to do so.
Yes. Yeah. And we are not sure what their ideals
we do know. Their ideals are all about personal progression.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, forwarding, bettering themselves specifically, like becoming more of who they personally should be, like their ideal self.
Interesting.
Yes.
So the Lopen is an Elsecaller because he became his ideal self. Just kidding.
Yeah, no. But like Yasna is all about mastering herself, making sure that, and they do. There does seem to be an underlying. So with Yasna, we see something interesting, which is she seems to be praised for her logic.
Yes.
And they do bond with Logic Spren.
Yes.
Or no, Inkspren. I'm sorry. They bond with Inkspren. Now that said, while Yasna is praised with her ability to see things in a very logical manner, to which she is praised for being almost Spren-like in that way, it is also said that Elsecallers have theologians among their number, which I feel is almost antithetical to the very logic-based way of viewing it. So,
great question.
But no, they are very much about mastering themselves.
That's right. And so they have transportation.
Yes, they can move into Shadesmar and back.
And that they share with Will Shapers.
Yes.
Which we've seen technically 2 of.
Yes. We have seen which they have transportation and stone.
That is cohesion.
Cohesion, yes. There we go. Which I found was an interesting thing for the Will Shapers. Insofar as with a lot of them, you can kind of see how their abilities align with their ideals.
Yeah.
However, the cohesion and um, transportation, I can sort of see uh, aligning with their ability or their ideals, which is freedom of expression.
Yes.
Everybody should be free to
make their own
choices and everything like that.
And freeing those who are captive.
Yes. And so that I definitely see. And I think what's interesting is that, so we have the gates in Urithiru, the
Oath Gate.
Is that what they're called? The Oath Gates?
Pretty sure.
There's a term for them. Anyway, regardless. And they can transport people from one Oath Gate to another.
Right.
But with the Else colors, we absolutely see that they can travel from the material plane to Shadesmar and back. They can't travel from one material place to another unless they travel to Shadesmar and then walk there. And then,
right.
So I think what we're going to see is that the Will Shapers are going to be the ones that can transport physically from one place to another.
Right.
That's my guess. We have no confirmation on that, but
right.
Considering that the same abilities can display themselves differently with different knights, different orders, that is my guess.
Yeah.
And then we have the Stone Wards.
That's right.
Which are cohesion and
tension. And they bond with Peakspren.
Interesting.
Yes.
Oh, what do Will Shapers bond with?
Lightspren.
Yes, that's right. So Peakspren, yes. And tension is that the large? No, that's the small binding.
Yes.
Yes. So where adhesion bonds things on a macro level, tension bonds things on a micro level. If I'm correct.
Alter the stiffness of an object.
Okay.
Repair inanimate objects.
We do see that.
Yeah.
Though through another order.
Yeah, so tension through the bondsmiths allow them to repair things.
Right.
As a complement. Stone shaping is the use of cohesion.
Yeah, that's absolutely cohesion.
Yeah.
And what are their ideals based around? Do we have any example of the Stone Ward ideals?
Let's see. Team dynamics, learning to work with others.
Okay, so
being
teamwork.
there for those who need them.
Okay, teamwork and camaraderie.
Yeah.
Okay, and then we have the bondsmiths
as
our final order, and they are adhesion and tension.
That's right.
And so they can repair things, bring things together. They are all about creating bonds.
Yes.
And so we do see Dalinar fix a temple, shrine,
statue,
something.
Yeah, something very large
like that with his abilities.
Yes.
And
the bondsmiths, there's only 3 of them.
There are only 3, yes, and we only have 2 active at the moment.
Yes.
We have Dalinar with the Stormfather, and then we have Navani with the sibling. Now, with the bondsmith, with the Stormfather, we know that there are certain abilities that come with him specifically making a pact with the Stormfather.
Okay.
One is honors perpendicularity. I believe that is just a Dalinar thing.
Yeah. Though it could be, we're not sure if it's a bonded with the Stormfather thing, or if it's a bonded with the Stormfather and it's Dalinar, or if it's
right, because I have brought the theory forward that Dalinar is going to replace honor in the same way that Taravangian replaces Odium, which would be an interesting way for Dalinar to get out of his deal with Odium. Sure. I just realized.
That would be, yeah.
But anyway, what I'm interested to see, and also we know that Dalinar can accompany the Stormfather in the high storms.
Yes.
So it'll be interesting to see what Navani can do with the sibling.
Everything in the tower. She can just see everything in the tower.
I mean, you're probably not wrong.
Yeah.
Because she can see all the systems of the tower and activate them. So it would not surprise me if she has some sort of not necessarily omniscience, but ever-present sight that she can just move around at will.
Localized omniscience. No. No.
But anyway, actually, I believe it would be ESP, extrasensory perception. Being able to move your senses to another place. Regardless, yes, she bonds the sibling, and we do not know what additional abilities come with that yet.
Yeah.
But I'm sure it will be revealed. What will be interesting is
yes.
I'll be interested to see if we get a bondsmith for
the Night Watcher.
For the Night Watcher. It'll also be interesting to see if we get a sibling for, or not a sibling, a bondsmith for Spren that are tied to the other mixed lights.
Yeah, although I think Cultivation and Odium and Honor would have to do whatever kind of reproduction a shard does with another.
This is true, which could be awkward.
The intermingling of infinities.
But I believe that wraps up our classifications of the Knights Radiant.
Yep. So which one is the best?
Well, Elsecaller, obviously.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, look at Yasna. Like,
yeah.
I mean, she climbs up air that she turns to stone.
Yeah.
And then creates a patch of burning oil in the way of somebody flying at her to attack her, which she senses because she notices the Spren around her reacting. She doesn't even need to see them. Yeah. Like her battle scene in the fields of what?
Phelan Field?
The Phelan Fields, yeah, fight.
Yeah.
That was just superb.
It was cool.
It was absolutely cool.
Yeah.
So I will also say that most Knights Radiant seem to orient themselves towards their their second ideal more than their first.
Okay.
Like the Windrunners absolutely gear more towards gravitation than they do adhesion. I'm not saying they don't use adhesion, like Kaladin does in some very badass ways, especially in the tower. But they do seem much more centered around gravitation.
Right.
And then you have the Skybreakers, which we haven't actually seen a whole lot. They do actually seem to gear themselves towards gravitation as well. So
yeah, I think when you have two, it's just one of them is going to be used more often or is more useful. Because I think they mentioned in Rhythm of War, there's a Light Weaver that's really good at doing the transformation compared to the others.
Right, yes.
So,
but yeah, so anybody can put themselves into one of the Knights Order or the Order Radiant Orders. There is an official quiz.
That's right.
For people to take if they so desire. And one of the nice things about it that I like is that it will, just right there on the first page, it will show you the breakdown of what you ranked via different Knight Orders. So
Yeah.
I particularly like that. You don't have to go searching for that info or anything. No, it gives you all that straight up.
Yeah. And another nice thing is Sanderson was like, well, if you don't like what you got on the quiz, it matters most what you feel. Like.
Right. And so, I mean, I think that's absolutely something because they are creating these bonds with the Spren. I don't think you could ever bond a Spren that you didn't want or didn't like or didn't feel like you had common ideals with. So,
right. Like Haladin was like, can I really say the ideal if I don't mean it? Or will it mean anything if I don't mean it?
Right.
And the Stormfather was like, zip.
Yep.
Yeah. What else is there to talk about with the...
I mean, do we want to talk about the blades?
I guess so. Yeah, so when they swear their...
Second oath. No, you're right. The third. The third yes. Ideal. Third ideal.
When they swear their third ideal, their Spren gain the ability to turn into a shard.
Weapon.
Blade.
Well, yeah.
A weapon. Yeah, so it doesn't have to be a blade. It can be any shape.
Yeah, it can be any shape. Like Haladin turns into a spear.
Very often.
Yeah, not exclusively, but...
A sword.
So, yes, your Spren gains the capability of taking on the aspects of a solid object.
Yes.
And can change that object at will. It also looks very pretty.
I believe shard blades and shard plate are considered to be made of Tanavastium. It says somewhere on the Coppermind. I don't know if the Spren blade and Spren armor would be considered that as well.
I don't believe so, because I believe... Well, so interestingly enough, one of the things that Brandon Sanderson said was that a single shard blade has more investiture in it than the entire Bands of Mourning ability from Mistborn, which has stores of every Mistborn investiture. So I found that was interesting.
Unless he said that after he knew that the Bands of Mourning were emptied. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah. But when they swear the fourth ideal, they get
their armor.
Their armor made out of their
minor Spren of a similar type. Like the Honor Spren get wind Spren.
Right.
And I believe the Ink Spren get Logic Spren.
Should. And it seems like the Bondsmiths get
well, the Bondsmiths...
Glory Spren.
Well, and the Bondsmiths are kind of a unique thing, which is they cannot call their Spren as shard blades.
Well, we're not sure about the tower or the sibling for that quite yet. But yeah, no. The Stormfather told Dalinar that bad things would happen if he ever did. And then the Honor Spren were like, ooh, he tried it. He tried to kill the Stormfather. Yo.
One of the things that I will find interesting, and this is just my own prediction, is that I think that Dalinar will pull the Stormfather as a blade in his duel against Odium's champion.
Interesting. I don't think so.
Fair.
We can save that for our Stormlight 5 what do we call those? What's the word there? Theories.
Pre-release?
No, like when we talk about things that might happen in a book.
Predictions?
Yes, that's the word.
Yes. Yeah, no, you are correct. We can orient that towards a different thing.
Indeed.
I don't know if there's that much more to mention.
No, probably not. But it is a hyper-flexible mythology.
It is. Did we talk about the Bondsmith's ideals?
Oh, no. They're all dealing with unity.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of there in the name.
Yeah.
Bond. I will say there is one quote in there, and it is, I believe, one of Dalinar's ideals that I loved the answer to, which is, what is the most important step a man can take?
the next one.
And instead of the first one or anything like that, it is the next one.
Yeah.
Always the next one. And I think that was very beautiful. I love that.
That was cool.
But yes, I believe that is it.
Yep.
So next, are we dealing with the Surges next episode in depth?
Is there much more to say on them?
Well, I mean...
They do things.
They do things.
If they do things while connected to a Dawn Shard, they destroy the things.
Yes.
Dawn Shard.
Which we only have one aspect of, or one example of, and we should probably save that for an episode.
I think we've already talked. I mean, we've really only we talked about it in the Anal Nasium.
Yeah, we did.
Forever ago.
No, I mean, I guess we did get each ideal. Just to go quick over, adhesion pulls two objects together or fastens them together after they are already together.
Sure.
Which Kaladin uses in a very badass way to adhere. He adheres somebody to a wall and then uses gravitation to attract their head to the floor to the point where it tears itself off the body.
Oh, I thought he used adhesion on the head to the floor.
No, I felt it was gravitation because he adheres the dude to the wall.
Yeah.
And then he gravitates the head to the floor.
Sure, okay.
And that literally rips it off the body, which was just so absolutely brutal. Just a brutal way to die.
And that was right when Odium thought he was about to have his champion.
Yep.
So that was cool.
And then let's see. So that's adhesion and gravitation.
Yeah.
Gravitation also allows you to fly insofar as it allows you to fall in different directions.
Yes.
Which is effectively flying. And then there's the Skybreakers, which can fly, and the division is destroying things, kind of.
Right.
Well, like, we see a guy do some, like, a guy or a girl do some kind of wood art, like almost wood burning kind of art with theirs in a table. Like, they do a symbol with the division thing in the wood. And so we don't have a whole lot of info on division, to be honest.
We sure don't.
Even though we do have a main character, Skybreaker.
I guess we'll probably get more on that in the Nights of Wind and Truth.
Yes. So let's see. Division and...
Abrasion.
Abrasion, thank you. I was going to be like, I know there was a term, which seems to make the user frictionless.
Yes.
Or near frictionless. And then there's progression, which is healing, specifically healing of bodily, though maybe mental. We don't know. We haven't explored that.
That's true.
And also it can bring back limbs that had been severed by
a shard blade.
A shard blade, which Stormlight regularly can do that as well.
And then illumination.
Yes, which is the illusions that Shallan can make, and Wit. Yeah. And Wit can make them as well. And then after that, we have
Else Calling. So it's
Else Caller. Sorry, yeah. So transformation. No, Lightweavers.
Well, we talked about
illumination. Right. We talked about illumination, yes. So...
Did we talk about progression? Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we talked about progression.
We are so tired.
So transformation. Transformation, we did mention, can transform one substance into another. They seem to be somewhat limited on the substances they can do, but that also comes with mastery. The more practiced they are at it, the more varied they can be with what forms they transform one thing into another.
Right.
Like, Jasna literally transforms the guy into crystal. Transportation, Again, because for the else callers, it seems to allow them to go into Shadesmar, but I'm going to guess for the will callers, it allows them to transport, or the will shapers, it allows them to transport from one place to another. So, yes.
Cohesion.
Yes, cohesion allows. I don't know if it's specifically with stone or if it's with other things as well.
I think it's with other things.
But it allowed her to kind of stick her limb into that like it was water.
Yeah.
Pushing it out of the way.
Yeah. Then tension.
And then tension, which we talked about healing, and it's kind of like nuclear bonding versus gravity.
Sure.
Like the what is it called? In the weak nuclear force and the strong nuclear force versus gravity, which is a whole different thing. So that's tends to be how I make sense of it in my mind, where adhesion is gravity, sort of, and then tension is like the nuclear attraction. So
yeah.
But I believe that's...
Yeah, and then we round back out at adhesion.
Yes.
And then we just keep going.
It's just a circle. Continual circle.
This episode is an avatar of the spiral. Brought to you by
the Magnus Archives. We are not sponsored by them, but if they want to sponsor us, I will not say no.
Yeah.
Or I guess it would have to be the Magnus Protocol.
The Magnus, Rusty Quill.
Yeah, there you go.
Talk to us.
But no, I believe that is it when it comes to Night Radiant orders.
That's right. So, yeah. What are you listening to nowadays?
Currently, I just listened to Psalm for the Wild-Built, which I know you are currently reading.
Yeah, so we should have a review of that coming out soon.
Yes, and then I just started rereading the Alex Verus novels, which I only got through the first 2, maybe 3, and I don't remember that much about them. So I just started from number 1 again, because, yeah.
Why not?
Right. So that's currently what my reading project is.
Yeah. I've got The Blade Itself by Joe Abercrombie, which is amazing. Great narrator, great book so far.
Good to know.
Yep. Also reading Song of the Wild-Built and The Promise of Blood.
Oh, yes. How are you liking it, by the way?
I like it. I just forget it exists. I'm technically also reading like 3 other books, but really just the Psalm for the Wild-Built and Promise of Blood.
It is quite good. Psalm of the Wild, both are quite good, honestly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I believe that's it. We will probably be giving a review of the Sideoverse box when it gets here.
Yep.
So until then, don't panic, World Hoppers.
Life before death, strength before weakness, and knowing all 10 surges before destination. Are there only 10 of them? Right? Every order shares...
Yeah, every order shares 10. One. So yeah, there's 10 surges.
Okay, yeah. Yes. Before destination.
The music you hear is Part 3, The Spirit, from Zavadilla's The Music of Elantris, produced by B-Roll Records. Available now on Apple Music, Spotify, and most music providers.
If you like what you hear and you want others to hear it as well, please leave a rate and review. It really helps us get more listeners.